I was reading your comments after the Fulham game, and you said you thought the goal was possibly the poorest you've conceded all season. Have you had a chance to have a look back at it?
Haven't I? About 20 times. Yeah, it was really, because we talked in obviously the sort of analysis that goes into opposition play, set plays is huge nowadays, and we're right up there with it. Small margins and stuff like that. So everything, revolves around Mitrovic. So for Mitrovic to score with a free header right in front of, in that zone was really disappointing. So, lack of organisation, which has undone us really. They stretched the zone, and we dropped too early, and I think, we were overloaded on the side of the ball really, and that shouldn't have been the case. Should have been another one inside in that sort of area where he was. So it's a right disappointing goal to concede, in my point of view, because first half, one opportunity when Harrison Reed jumps up after being down for about 5 minutes, and Mitrovic has sort of a free head at the back post, not a real clear-cut chance. And the other one, he could over Reed's offside, so that wouldn't have counted. So to limit an attacking team of Fulham's quality, Harry Wilson, Carvalho, obviously there's a lot of talk, a lot of noise over the last sort of 24 hours where he's going to end up. And Mitrovic, who's got 1 trillion goals in the division over the last 3 years, to limit them to that is bittersweet, really. He's fabulous, but to get undone by a real simple goal when not really had to. It's a great header, it's a great ball in, but they've not really had to work hard to get into that position. And obviously, even the lead up, really, Crooksy should stay on his feet and not give away that free kick. Because obviously, when you do, and you're sort of in that area, Wilson's got that ability to hurt you. And obviously, off the back of that, going the other way. We've had more than enough to get some out of the game, but small margins, what we need to get right between now and the end of the season, and that was a disappointing aspect of the night.
A lot's made of the fact that obviously the games come thick and fast in the Championship, and sometimes it's not necessarily the greatest because you don't get a lot of recovery time, but actually in this instance, is it better that you can get straight back out and try and get a response?
It's just what it is. I don't think we need it, I think a lot's been talked about a response or reaction. I don't think there needs to be a response or reaction, because, apart from 15, 20, 25 minutes of the first half where we had the handbrake on, once we took it off, like last 15 minutes of the first half and all the second half, whether it's subjective or objective, we've, in my eyes, we dominated the best team in the division second half. And from a stats point of view, 60% possession, biggest chances, and we've done that to Fulham. Fulham have had the biggest chance in the division, most passes, most possession. On that, what I will say, is that the hallmark and the sign of a Championship winning side. And when you're going for promotion, I've had that, feeling, and I've had that experience before. There's some big games, and you find a way, and they found a way. So I'm not taking anything away from Fulham because they're an outstanding side. They've had it. It's been game on for them from the moment the first ball was kicked way back in August, and they've proved their class, their durability, results when they need to get results, when they're up against it, and they were up against it on Wednesday night. So that's the reason that they're going to win the division comfortably and at a canter, and deserve all the credit. Marco and his players do that. But, no reaction, no sort of response really, apart from just getting a couple of little bits right. I would say, to Green, arguably, that was, with the quality of the opposition, that was up there, like the Forest performance, like the Bournemouth performance, like the Tottenham performance. The little bit that we needed to go from no points to 1 point to 3, I believe that we can adjust, and we need to. Players are in good nick. We're creating chances, we're playing well as a team, they're playing well individually, and we're all healthy. And as I said, we played against not arguably, comfortably the best team in the division and dominated them. So we've just got to be nice and calm, get the bit both ends right, which you keep talking about, which I believe we will do, and be consistent with our performances, and we'll be fine.
I suppose the players can take confidence from that performance. If as you say, Fulham are comfortably the best team in the division, and they've ran them so close, that must do wonders for their confidence.
Yeah, we want to win though. As I said afterwards, no hard luck stories, no excuses. Let's get that right in terms of the defending from the organisation on the goal, and let's get the other bit right. But there's no hard luck stories. But I think you guys talked to me afterwards, and that's the standards that we've set, and maybe the outside of me and the team or the coaching staff would say that was like I said, pound for pound, going to be our best league performance with the quality of the opposition that we're playing. But we're here to win. It's mad, isn't it? It's the game because if we score one of those chances in the last 5 minutes, then everybody's coming out the ground super happy. I did get the feeling that everybody was content, really, and realises that we're in a good place. Apart from the grumpy old manager that wants to get a result, whether they're playing Fulham, whether they're playing Peterborough, whether they're playing Barcelona. That's just the way I'm set up, and the way that I think we should behave and have those sort of emotions in every game that we go into. That we're coming here to get a result and approach it in the same mentality.
I think we did some filming after the game during the week, and everyone was very complimentary about the performance, all the supporters we spoke to. It's a bit of a different test this weekend, because obviously Hull aren't flying at the top end of the division, they're down towards the bottom, but there's no easy games. No
let up. Hull are on a great run away from home. And we've got to make sure that we deal with that. And they've had the opportunity to have a full week as well, which I do believe is a little bit of an advantage, But this is how it is. I want to turn the quarter final or down for anything. So obviously that was the rearranged game, was the Fulham game. But we have to get back and get going again, and we're all right. We've got a full squad to pick from. We believe that Izzy will train this morning, so which I said a week or 10 days ago, it's a great position to be in. Healthy squad. Martin trained yesterday as well, so he'll have a full week's training next week as well, which is good. And you have to take these little bits of sort of tiny disappointments, because as I said, there's not a great deal wrong with the group at the moment, but we're here to win, and we have to make sure that we get the show on the road again and get another 3 points, as I said, against a tough side. That there's all different types of pressure. Maybe the pressure has come off them a little bit, especially away from home, which they've got their results, the majority of the results recently, and we've got to get the job done. And everybody, as we talked about, has got something to play for. In this game, which I've gone on about before.
Middlesbrough obviously have something to play for. Is there this sort of added pressure because you're now out of the playoffs to get back in?
No, I mean, listen. From my point of view, 3 points would have been a great reward for a fantastic performance, and even a point would have been, and it should have been. We all know that, and whether it's opposition players, opposition managers, our players, our manager, our supporters. I think everybody walked away on Wednesday night and said, a draw was the least we would have deserved from the game, but it isn't. The biggest thing is that, come the end of the season, come the last kick of the ball, final whistle at Preston, is that we were in the playoffs. So, but I want to be in the playoffs now because it is obviously a reward for getting a positive result against Fulham. So I want to be on Saturday night because that'll have meant that we've got a positive result on Saturday. So. The accumulation of points is huge. The quicker that we can accumulate points, of course, we want to do that. The quicker Fulham want to win. I think everybody, as I just said, everybody in that position knows. We all know that Fulham are going to win the league. But their reaction after the game on Wednesday night. They want to get the jobs done as soon as possible. A win, they want to win on Sunday and win the league as soon as they possibly can. That's just the nature of the business, the attitude of winning footballers and winning football clubs. And we want to win football games. We want to win. We want to go on a run and win as many games as we possibly can, and the sooner the better.
Looking at Hull, have you noticed a big change? Obviously, the club itself has undergone significant changes, new owner, new manager. Have you noticed a sort of change in their style since the new manager came in?
No, not really. They've got some really good young players. Honeyman, who's obviously a local boy, and Lewis Potter. He's obviously taken a lot of the plaudits of this season through some fabulous performances. Jacob Greaves, young centre half. So. They did a couple of bits of business in January when the new manager came in, but they've been consistent. I think they'll be relatively happy with their first season back in the Championship. Mission accomplished in terms of being in the division for another season. I think they will be, and they'll get the job done, and they'll build from there. So new owner, new manager, but they'll want a strong, positive end of season like we all do. Whether I'd come in and we'd have not got the results that we've got, we'd still want a big finish to go into next year, and Hull City will be no different.
They certainly seem as if they're planning a big finish. There was a report in the Daily Mail this morning that apparently the owner is taking 500 fans to Turkey on an all-inclusive holiday.
Is he? All
right for them.
Lucky boys and girls. So, all abusive. We all love one of them, don't we? So, that I think from that part of the world, as we all know, Yorkshire people can eat and drink. So, I think that's going to be a big bill for the owner. So, get ready for that.
Great, thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
Chris, your defence doesn't change an awful lot. Your midfield doesn't change an awful lot. Attack is probably the area where personnel change a bit.
Yep.
How do you kind of choose? Is it tailored for the opposition? Is it what you see on the training ground in the week? Is it you think that certain pairs of your players play better together with each other? I think it's a bit of everything that you've said. Yeah, I think it's a bit of everything you've said. The two young boys who've come into the group, and obviously Josh is a young boy as well. So you look at load as well. You look at Flo played a lot of games. Played a couple of games for England, and then played against Peterborough. Done a lot of travelling. We felt it was best that he came out of the team. I thought the front two did well on Wednesday. With the opposition that they were up against, especially second half. I thought they were excellent. So to have the five of them fit and healthy, and I just think that's the modern game now, and that's the way we roll with the players that we've got. I don't know. I suppose not being disrespectful to our forwards. If we had a Mitrovic, maybe he might play. He might play every week, but he's an experienced boy and he plays up on his own, and he's got legs and bodies around him. And he's on about 100 grand a week. I don't think Steve will be too happy if I rotated 100 grand a week centre forward. So they have that ability to stick him in, and obviously he's come up trumps. But yeah, listen, it's worked for us, and we'll need all those boys fit and healthy. But yeah, combination of everything. I think if it was a sort of a week-to-week situation or scenario, and I don't know, say I don't know, Flo and Andy Sporer, we won 3-0 and one got 2 and one got 1, and it was a fabulous. Am I going to change it for the week after? Yeah. So there's that in our thought process as well, that sometimes they might need a little bit of a run together, but they're all bright. They all have to. They all have to work off each other. They've all got different attributes as well, and I believe they've all got the biggest one, which is they all have the ability to stick the ball in the back of the net. Yeah, and you feel that
that they have got that clinical edge. It just necessarily wasn't there the other night, but it's they are capable of doing that.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, we're creating chances. I think I've got to say I am one that the result overrides any sort of individual sort of achievements. I think you know that if you're looking to get out of the division, you've got to score 70, 75 goals. You've got your forwards. Somebody's got to come up with 20, 25 goals at the start of the season. Obviously, I came in midway through, and they're all working out how we want to play. So and that's possibly the hardest thing as well, is at the top of the pitch to create and score, and the way we play as well out of possession is important as well. The age of the players as well, with the two young boys coming in as well, and them not playing a lot of football, and Andy Sporer being away, and Duncan having his little issues, Josh being a young boy as well. So it's not been an ideal situation for me, but we've got through it. We're all fairly happy, content in terms of our league position. I think I've always, and I do believe we should be a touch higher in the division. Maybe scored a few more goals, but we'd have took this. They're all healthy, they're all fit, they're all in form out there, and that's important out there as well. I think we've got a group of 5 that we're delighted with, that will see us through to the end of the season.
And Isaiah being back would obviously be a massive boost. I mean, we all know what he's been capable of, and I understand that don't want to pile too much pressure on who is still a young lad, but just because of the way you play and because of the rest of the personnel in the squad, he's actually one of the hardest players like for like to replace, isn't he, really? Because in that wing back position, you've got other players who can play wing back, but not the same way that he does.
I think in an ideal position, we'd have like for like. Yeah. We'd have competition for because it's such a specialised position. I think Peltz did a great job for us, but obviously, he's not got the attributes. He's not got the attributes that Isaiah's got. Peltz has got different attributes that, sort of didn't distract. The reason that we didn't win on Wednesday night was not because we missed Isaiah, but does it give us a better opportunity of getting a result? Of course it does, because he's been, I should imagine from your guys' point of view and the majority of supporters, he'd be up there and arguably our player of the year. Yeah. So to miss your player of the year, it's going to be a bit of a blow, but we have to overcome it, which I believe we did. And if we lose somebody else, then we're going to have to get on with that.
And then Martin coming back into training as well. I mean, for a whole host of various reasons, he's had probably a difficult first season. He's had a lot of injuries, a lot of stop-start. Obviously, he's been away as well, international stuff, whatever. But it's funny how these things sometimes work out, that quite often, crunch time, last month of the season, someone comes from absolutely nowhere, comes off the bench.
You've got it.
That's it, isn't it?
You've got it.
It's there for him.
There's so many examples. I mean, our person was involved in. Listen, I'm not saying that I changed the I changed the sort of the course of a season, because. But I played in the last 8 games of a season. For me personally, and I'm going from Martin from a personal point of view. There's still something left in the season. Yeah. I didn't play 38 games. I was out on loan on the first part of the season. Came back because of an injury to one, and then played as a backup, and then. Player got injured. I played the last 8. I wouldn't have changed the last 8 games of the season. It was a promotion. It was at Sheffield United. It was a promotion into the old First Division. It was arguably one of the greatest days of Sheffield United's recent history, of 5-2 win at Leicester. Newcastle went into the playoffs. It was 3 teams. I played 8 games of the season. I wouldn't change it for the world. So from a personal point of view, Martin might have. A big 8 games to be involved in, so you don't know. But certainly having a player of the quality and class and personality of Martin in and around him is great. He's a popular boy. He would have loved his season to be a lot better than what it has been, but these things happen and you have to overcome them. But you're
definitely you're not counting out what happens in the last 8, and hopefully 2, and hopefully 1. So get the job done first and foremost, but having him back is going to be a big boost for us.
Brilliant. Cheers. Brilliant.
Just on Martin, Chris, obviously, he's very popular with supporters as well. He signed with a lot of fanfare in the summer. I mean, they obviously, want, they're excited about his future, I guess is what I'm saying. Are you as well? Do you see him as a player with the attributes for a long-term future here?
Well, yeah, but he's got to get on. He's got to get into the team, and he's got to produce the goods. Without being too critical of Martin, he hasn't really done a lot. So sometimes the fanfare has got to be backed up by performances. Getting into the team, it's been difficult. It's been difficult from a lot of reasons. He's been really unfortunate from an injury point of view. I was looking forward to working with him. I did see signs of coming on at Old Trafford and a couple of other little bits and pieces, but the fanfare I get, the noise I get in a way, because signing an international player from a South American country for a lot of money is going to create the noise. But Martin has to back that up, and I think the supporters want him to back up. I think the good thing about it is we all want him to do well. That's the top and bottom of it, and Martin wants to do well. So there's definitely an enthusiasm and an encouragement from our point of view for him to get back involved and show his qualities. And if he does, then he's an asset to the football club. If he doesn't, then he's not an asset to the football club. It's pretty simple. I'm really excited about Riley McGree, but I think Riley has come in, and you've seen he's got on the pitch, and you've seen now what he's going to produce, and hopefully Martin will be of the same.
Yeah, and I guess that's the challenge when he first comes back, Martin, because you've got a midfield three who you've said all along have been so positive since you've come to the club. Riley's there at the minute on the bench. You've mentioned James Leahy a couple of times lately and how well he's training and playing for the under 23. There's a lot of competition there. It's not going to be easy.
We need everybody. I've just read today, I think Bournemouth have left 6 out of their squad, their match day squad, and I'm going, he can't get in their squad. Like honestly, there was like 6 of them, and I'm going, wow. And they've got Kiefer Moore injured, and I think they've got Stanislaus injured as well. And you go, wow. So that's where we want. That's where we want to be. I want to have that luxury, have that option, have that healthy competition. I want Martin right on top of Matt Crooks, Saliki, McGree, Bowler Taylor, the 5 centre forwards, Sol Bamba, Grant Hall, Dale Fry, Paddy McNair, Dyke Steele, whatever. There's a couple of holes in the group, in my point of view, which the club know about, which obviously we tried to do in January, but unfortunately we couldn't do. So does the squad look like I want it to really look? Not at the moment, but I've had one window and a really difficult window to work in, and from a club's point of view, it's a really difficult one as well. So we'll get there, and we're excited about the future. But we're excited about as well the players that we've got, and for Martin to come back and put huge pressure in a lovely way. And I think Crooksy and him are quite tight as well, in a nice way. He benefits everything that we're trying to achieve here, and makes us stronger. And like we just talked about, who knows? I don't know what's round the corner. I don't know what our team's going to be next week. I don't know what our team's going to be at Preston. Who knows? And if we do get in the playoffs, what's the team going to be? Because anything can happen, and you can't predict it. But as long as we've got that competition and players are healthy, that's all we can ask for.
Yeah. Well, you speak about recruitment there and how difficult it can be, and you mentioned just earlier, promoted teams tend to need a striker who can maybe get 20, 25 goals. How difficult, I don't think it's controversial to say that in the summer you will be leaving, strikers, obviously 3 loan players will be leaving.
Yeah.
But you said yourself, obviously Middlesbrough can't afford to couldn't get someone like Mitrovic who is established and will get the goal. So you're kind of looking for, if you like, hidden gems, untapped potential, that kind of thing. How difficult is it to sign a striker like that?
Unbelievably difficult. Unless you've got, this is what I said, the power of what Fulham have got, whether the power of playing, of being in the Premier League, the power of coming out of the Premier League, the power of being in the Premier League for, I think Fulham have been in there like 10 out of 14 or 15, 10 or 11 out of 15 seasons. So that's 10 times 100 million. Yeah, and I know they've spent in that, but obviously it does and gives you the ability. But we'll work hard at it, and I think one thing that's never been in question is the owner's support to the manager. I think going back 4 or 5 years when Assombalonga came into the football club and Braithwaite came into the football club. Fletcher, you know what I mean? So, he has put his hand in his pocket on more than one occasion. But I think he knows that how I roll as well. That I look after the club's money as if it's mine, and I'm not going to tip anybody upside down. And we'll have suggestions and go-tos, but obviously that's work that's going on away from here at the moment that we're still part of. But of course, sort of the big issue, not the big issue, the big focus is what's going to happen in the next, we're talking now, in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah. And I mean, when you first arrived, there was a lot of kind of outside talk of will Chris Wilder work in the kind of structure that Middlesbrough have, where there's like a director of football. You always said that was nonsense. Like, of course you will. And I mean, when it's like this in the season, it's so like you're so focused on the football, but there is that medium to long term. Is it helpful to you that you can just leave someone like Kieran and the recruitment team to kind of do that, and you can focus on?
Well, I'm part of that. So you work in, my fingerprints are all over the football club, as it has been over my previous clubs, on a lot of things, whether it's pre-season, whether it's player of the year whether it's academy, whether it's an issue with the first team, whether it's everything. That's how you've got to be as a manager. I'm demanding. Apparently, that was what I was accused of, being too demand. I was demanding at times. I just want the football club to do well. That's my focus. To run properly, do right, do well, and try and get the maximum out of everything that we do. I think there's different ways you can describe it. And I think that's the way, and I think that my past record in working will cement that.
Just lastly on the playoff race, because I mean, this stage of the season you tend to find there might be one or two who kind of look like they're starting to cement a place, but at the minute now you're looking at all 4 of those playoff races still feel up for grabs, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I don't think anybody could. I think you look at the bookies that don't usually get it wrong, so it's a tight affair. West Brom have come flying back into the equation with a couple of really big wins. So I think it, with every game, it sort of maybe knocks one out of the equation, but I still think it's still up for grabs. I think teams outside can get in, and I think I think if you look, I still think Bournemouth will get the job done without a shadow of a doubt. I think, like I said, you've got too much quality. They've got too much quality. They've got a manager who's got the job done before. The squad is an incredible squad, so there's got to be something drastically wrong if they don't get the job done. I believe they will do with the quality that they've got. And as I said, the quality they've got in terms of the manager who's leading them and the players that they've got. And then you look at third. I don't think who's third at the moment. Is it Luton or Huddersfield? I don't think Huddersfield have got a cigar out at the moment and thinking that's us, job done. And I don't think West Brom have give it up or a Coventry. I don't know how far it goes down from there. A West Brom, Coventry, a Millwall. I don't think Gary would think that. I think Gary would think that at Millwall that they can win 4 out of 6. That gives them a late charge, and who knows what happens above. So and another weekend of Huddersfield versus Luton, Sheffield United versus Bournemouth, teams playing each other, but still, making sure job done. Middlesbrough versus Hull is an home win, which obviously making sure we take care of our business.
Yeah, and the overall picture, do you look at it and do you have if you like a points tally you want to get to that you think should be good, or is it just a case?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know. Sometimes I don't think about what I say, and I get myself into trouble. Usually it's at home, but I think everybody talks about where you sat at the when the last ball's kicked, final whistle goes at Preston. But I think you're looking at, that 73, 74 points. You'd be extremely disappointed if you didn't get in on that number. It might be 1 or 2 lower, it might be 1 or 2 above, but I think 74, 75 points. I don't know how you guys see it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, because so many teams will be playing against each other.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed if there was 6 that was higher than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, 75, 76, so 75, 74, 73, 72. I think 80 might just do it.
Yeah. Stick with that. I guess you leave it all out there. And
just leave it all out there and get as many points as possible. Yeah, what we got 7 left. So, but I think everybody recognises that, teams have got to go on a good run. That's the top and bottom of it. 1.5 to 1.8. We can keep consistent in our points per game, which we talked about quite a lot. Then I think we give ourselves a right good chance, and we can only do that, be consistent with our approach, performance and results. I think if we carry on the way we do, and if we don't get in, I think we'll be extremely lucky, and we've done as much as we possibly can. I think, like what you just said, if you leave it all out there, then nobody has any issues or sort of any criticism of how it's gone.